Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Emmanuel. In this tutorial, we'll be creating the sample of the mascot logo we have on our screen here. If you're an old subscriber, thank you for coming back. If you're new to this channel, kindly hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification icon to get notified whenever we post a new video. Kindly give this video a thumbs up so that it can be recommended to others by YouTube, and kindly leave a comment in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get started. Now the first thing we want to do is to delete this icon we have on our screen here. And just like I've said before, when creating a logo, especially for the mascot logo, the first thing you have to do is to sketch your logo. The outcome of your sketch will determine the outcome of your logo to a large extent. So we'll head on to the plus icon here and we'll add the sketch that we have from our gallery. So wait for it to load and then we'll locate it, and we have it here nicely, and then we'll add it onto our screen. So we'll just scale it up a bit, and then we'll head onto the layers option here and we'll lock it so that we have it in place and it doesn't move when we are creating our design. So the tool we'll be using for this design is the Bezier tool, and we'll head onto the tool option here and we'll select the tool. Now that we have it on our screen here, we're going to we're going to um we're going to remove one of the node here so that we'll just have a single point there, and then we'll head on to the stroke and we'll reduce the stroke to 2px, and then we're going to change the color of the stroke to red to make it visible. Now that we have it there, we're going to pick this icon that helps us to move this point here, and we're going to select a point where we'll start creating our logo. So the zoom tool is going to be handy when you are designing on the mobile phone because of the size of the screen. So we'll head onto the zoom option there and we'll just zoom in a little bit, and then we'll just position our points properly here, and then we'll use the plus button to add a point there. And then the next thing we want to do is to just trace around our image. So we'll just trace around it, just trace. So we'll just make some adjustment, and we'll drop the plus icon and we'll pick the move icon here. So we'll just adjust it to fit in to what we want. Let's zoom in a little bit. So we'll just try to edit it and then try to position it nicely there. So we'll just complete our design and then we'll close it up. So we'll just click on check, and then we have the cap there. So what we want to do is to give it a color. So we'll click on this edit and then we'll give it a fill color. The color is going to be white, and then we'll remove the stroke, and then we'll click on OK, and then we'll head on to the layer option here, and then we'll just hide it for now. So the next thing we want to do is to draw the face. So we'll select our tool and then we'll trace the face. So we'll just scale it out, and then we'll reduce the size of the stroke. reduce the size of the stroke to 2 pixels, and then we'll change the color to red, and then we're going to delete a point, and then we'll move it to where we want to start our design. So we'll just start by designing the shirt. So we'll just start by designing the shirt, and then we'll start from a point here. So we'll just select this and we'll make some adjustment to it before we continue. So we'll just adjust this to just follow the line that we have there. So we'll just try to position it nicely there, and then we'll continue our design. So we'll just use this, and then we'll position it. Let's just zoom in a little bit, and then we'll try to make some adjustment to it. Let's try to make some adjustment to it. So guys, this is a tutorial and it might not be really perfect because I don't want the video to be so long. So but if you are doing it, you just take your time and then you do it properly. So now that we have it here, we'll give it a color. The color of the shirt is white, and then we'll remove the stroke, and then we'll click OK. So you can see that it has become smaller. So we'll just scale it up like this, and then we'll use the edit option. We'll just scale it up, and then we'll try to balance it. Just try to balance it in the position where it is. We'll just balance it like this. Just scale it up a little bit, and then we'll just balance it. So we might make some adjustment to it later on, but for now I think it's okay. So we'll head on to the layer option here, and then we'll hide it. So the next thing we want to do is to design the other part of the shirt. So we'll just select the tool again, and then we'll reduce the stroke to 2. Then we'll change the color of the stroke to red, and then we'll head on to this and we'll remove the icon there, remove the point there. So we'll move it, we'll move the point to somewhere here, and then we'll zoom in, we'll zoom in. So we'll just move this here, and then we'll start tracing the other part of the image. So we'll just have it here like this, and we'll try to position it nicely. So we'll just use this move option here to position our lines properly. So I'll just zoom in a little bit so that I'll so now that I have it there, I'll zoom out. I'll zoom out, and then I'll give it a color. The color is still going to be white, and then I'll remove the stroke and I'll click on OK. So I have it there, and then I'll decide to also hide this part of the layer as well. So that's how we're going to be designing it in part before we reveal the whole thing. So the next thing we want to do is to design this heart that we have here. So just simply select our tool, and then we'll begin to trace around. So we'll just reduce the stroke again, and then we'll change the color of our line to red, and then we're going to delete one of the points by clicking on this delete option here. So we'll use this move tool, and then we'll move it. So we'll select it from here, and we'll start to design this. So let's just zoom in a little bit, and then we'll start designing this. So we'll make a point from here, I'll make another point here, and we'll make another point, we'll make another one here, like this. So we'll just put this in place before we continue. So all we're trying to do is just to arrange this properly so that we have it in place. So we'll just try to position this nicely. And then we'll check. So now that we have it there, we'll make these adjustments, and then we'll make this adjustment and we'll give it a color. So we'll just have it like this, and then we'll try to create the heart. So we'll try to create the heart. So we'll just head down to the stroke here and reduce it to 2 pixels, and then we'll change the color from that to a red, and then we'll delete one of the points and we'll use the move tool to move it to somewhere here. So we'll start creating our heart from here. We'll just make the points, and then we'll make the lines to form the heart. So we'll just make a point here and make another point here, make another point here, and make another one here, and then we'll close it. So we'll just zoom in so that we have it properly, and we'll use this tool to be able to place the heart properly. So that we have it nicely. So now that we have the heart there, we'll just click on OK, and then we have it there. So it has shifted from where it is, so we'll just simply zoom out and we'll locate it and we'll scale it, and then we'll take it up, and then we'll press the edit button, and then we'll just have it there nicely. So but the heart is not looking all that nice, so we can just zoom in and we'll make a little edit on it just to position it properly. So it might not be perfect because this is a tutorial and I won't want it to be all that long, so but you can take your time to do it when you are creating the design on your own. So now that I have it there, I'll just simply hide the 2 layers so that I'll continue with the other part of the design. So the next thing we want to do is to trace around the hand. So we'll trace the hand, and then let's just trace the face so that we'll do the bulk of the work. So we'll just trace the face. So we'll reduce the size of this stroke, and then we'll change the color of the stroke from black to red, and then we'll head on to this option here and we'll remove 1 point of the stroke, and then we'll use the move option and we'll move it to a point where we can start our design, and then we'll start tracing. So we'll just trace the face, just trace around the face like this. So we'll just use the move tool here to be able to do some adjustment to our design. So we'll use this and make some adjustment. So there are some parts from here that will be covered by the hat, so we don't need to worry about that part so much like that. So just have this there like this, and then we'll simply continue drawing. So we'll just continue tracing around the face like this till we get our desired result. So we'll just close it up and then we'll just make the little adjustment. So remember the cap will be covering part of this, so we don't need to worry ourselves about the top here. So we have it there, and then we'll just zoom out so that it doesn't move when we click on OK, and then we'll check. So this is the face. So we'll edit the face and we'll give it the color. We'll give the face a color. So we'll look for a color that is similar to the color of the skin, right? So we can just choose this and then we'll select the edit option and we'll play around it to get a suitable color skin tone. So we'll just check, and then we have something around here. We can remove the stroke and then can still play around with the colors so that we can get something more suitable. So we'll just click OK. So now that we have the face, we'll just simply hide that layer and then we'll draw the hand. So we'll just zoom in and we'll zoom in like this, zoom in like this, and then we'll have it there. We'll just pick our tool again and then so we'll reduce the size of our stroke down to 2, and we'll change the color of our stroke to red, and then we're going to delete 1 point on our stroke, and then we'll just drag it to where the hand is and we'll start tracing. So we'll just drag it and we'll start tracing. So we have it here, and we'll just position it somewhere here, and then we'll start tracing. We'll just make something like this, and make something like this. I'll make something like this, and then we'll want to edit this before we go further. So we'll just select this, and then just start working on it like this. So we would like to zoom in so that we see what we're doing properly. So now that we have it there, we'll just continue. So now that we have it, we'll just try to make a little adjustment to it like this, and then we'll zoom out, and then we'll check. So it has shifted from the position, so we'll just select it, and then we'll scale it up. We'll select it. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So we'll just select it and we'll zoom in, and then we'll try to position it in place. So we'll edit, and then just try to position it in place. So we have it there. So we'll simply give it a color to that body tone that we used. So we'll just give it a color, and we have it there nicely. So we'll just remove the stroke because we don't need the stroke there. So click on OK, and then we'll just hide this. So the next thing we want to do is to create the other hand. So we'll just pick our tool again, and then we'll reduce it to 2px, and then we'll change the color to red, and then we'll just adjust this. I'll remove one of the points, and then we'll drag it all the way here to create that hand. So select the plus button, and then we'll start creating it. So we'll just have it like this, and then we'll use this option here to just fix it to what we want. we just close it up here, and then we just adjust this. So we won't bother so much about that part because the plate is going to cover it. So we'll just give it the color, and then remove the stroke and we'll click on OK. So we have it there nicely, and then we'll just hide it. And then the next thing we want to do is to trace the plate. So for this plate, we're going to go to the plus icon and we'll add a shape. So we'll change this to a circle, and then we'll scale it and we'll draw it that way. We'll scale it again, and then we'll check and we'll try to rotate it. So we'll just edit, we'll just head on to the opacity here and we'll reduce it a bit so that we'll see what we are doing. So we'll just position it around here like this. Just try to position it around here, and then we'll resize it a little bit. So that we have it there. Then we'll increase our opacity, and we'll click on OK. So we'll change the color to this gray here. So we have a gray color here. So we'll change it to this, and then we'll give it a stroke. Change the color of the stroke to this color here. We'll give it a stroke and we'll click on OK. So we'll want to hide it, and then we'll head onto this tool here, and then we'll start to trace the other part of our plate. Just position this here, and then we'll begin to draw. So we have it like this. We have it like this, and so we have it nicely there. So we'll give it a color. We'll give it that gray color. Increase the size of the stroke. We'll give the stroke a color as well, and then we'll click on OK. So now that we have it, we'll hide it as well. And then the next thing we want to do is to draw the face. That's the nose and the eye. So we have it. We'll just pick our tool again, we'll just zoom in, and then we'll have to start editing. So now that we have it there, we'll just zoom out, and then we'll just drag this and we'll try to position it there because it has shifted. So we'll just position it somewhere here, and then we'll just hide it for now. So the next thing we want to do is to draw the mouth. So we'll select this and then scale it out, and then we'll remove this, and then we'll drag it all the way to this point here, and then we'll start to draw. Just make a point, I'll make another point, and then we'll make another point here, and we'll close it. So we'll just zoom in, and then we'll use this tool here and make adjustment to it, make some adjustment to it, make some adjustment, and then we'll zoom out, and then we'll check, and we have the lips there. So but for the eyes and for the other part of the design, we'll work on it, but let's just start revealing all we have so that we'll see how it's looking now. Let's just reveal what we have so that we'll see how our design is looking. So now we have it this way, so we'll make some little adjustment to the design. So we'll just zoom in, and then I will select the cap, and then I'll give it a stroke. I'll give it a stroke. I'll give it a stroke. So I'll check, and then I'll select the face, and then I'll edit it, and I'll also give it a stroke as well. So I give it a stroke, and then I'll change the color of the stroke to this, and I'll increase the size of the stroke a bit. And then with that selected, I'll change the color of the skin because it seems our color is a bit awkward. So we'll just try to balance the color. We'll just try to balance the color. So we'll look for something that looks like a color, a skin tone. Something around here. We'll just copy this color code so that we can use it for the other part. So we'll click on OK, we'll select the hand, and then we'll edit, head on to the color, and then give it a color, and we'll give it a stroke as well. Give it a stroke, change the color of the stroke to this, increase the size of the stroke a bit, and then we have it there. So we'll select the layer of the hand, and we'll take it behind the shed. So we'll take it behind the shed like this, and then we'll have it, and we'll just try to position it somewhere here like this. So we'll select the shed, and then we'll give it a stroke as well. We'll change the color of the stroke to this, and then we'll send it behind the bigger shed, and then we'll select this, and then we'll give it a stroke as well. So once you give it a stroke, and then we'll select the color of the stroke like this, and then we'll check. So we have it there. So we'll select this hand as well, and then we'll edit. We'll give it a stroke, so we'll change the color, we'll check, and then select it. We'll take it behind the shed like this, and we have it there. So we'll just try to position it nicely here this way, and then the next thing we want to do is to select this, and then we'll start making our edits to it. So with that selected, we'll edit it, and we'll give it a color, and the color for this is going to be this color here. I will increase the size of the stroke. I will change the color of the stroke to this. So we'll just have the color of the stroke a bit bigger. We'll check. So for the heart, just select the heart, and then we'll use this positioning option here, and then we'll try to position it. Remember, the heart is on top of the face, so we'll select the heart from here. I'll just take it on top of the face, and we'll drop it, and then we'll check, and then we'll give it a color as well. So the color for this heart is going to be that red as well, and then we'll give it a stroke. So we'll change the outline color for the stroke, then we'll place it. So we'll still use this positioning option, so that we'll just position it nicely there, and we'll position it around there. So let's just zoom in so that we can make a little adjustment to the heart. So I'll just click on OK, and I have it there. So I'll zoom in so that I can see what I'm working on. So now that I have it there, what next? So the next thing is to put the plates in place. So I'll just zoom in and then zoom out a bit, and I have my plate. So I'll just select it and try to place it properly, but it's like the bottom part of the plate has disappeared, so I'll just recreate it again. So I'll add a shape, and then I'll convert it to a circle, and then I'll just resize it like this, and I'll hit OK, and then I'll reduce the opacity a bit so that I can see through what I'm doing. Just drag it and I'll rotate it a bit, scale it a little bit, and I'll try to position it around here, and I'll rotate it this way, and I have it there like this. So I'll just send it to back. I'll just send it to back like this, and then I'll increase the opacity, and then I'll check. So I'll just give it a stroke, and the stroke is going to be a black stroke, and I'll increase the line, and then I'll change the color. I'll change the color of these two. Let me use this. Select this, edit, color. I'll change the color to this, and then change the color of the stroke as well to this, and I'll click on OK. So we have our plate there nicely. So I'll just zoom out, and I'll just zoom out like this. I'll zoom out. So the next thing we want to do is to select the mouth, and then let me zoom in a bit. So we'll select the mouth, and then we'll change the color there to white, because the color is white, and we'll increase the size of the stroke a bit. And then we'll add the dividing line on the mouth. So let's zoom out, and then we'll just select the brazier tool, and then we'll remove this, and we'll use this, and we'll move it here. So we'll just zoom in, and then just position this around here. I'll just add a line there. Just drag it out a bit, and then we have it there. So we'll zoom out, and then we'll still select the brazier tool, and then we'll make a line below the mouth area. So we'll just make a mouth below the mouth area, a line below the mouth area here. So we'll just zoom in, and then with that selected, we'll just make a point here, and then we'll just curve the line. We'll select this, and we'll bring it like this, bring this like this. So let's just zoom in so that we'll see what we're doing. So we'll bring this like this, and we'll position this like this. So guys, this might not be perfect. I'm just trying to rush it because it's a tutorial, okay? But you can take your time to do it properly. So now that we have it there, we'll simply hide the face again so that we'll see some things that we have not done there. So you can see we have not done the line on top of the mouth. So we'll just select the tool again. So let's zoom out a bit, and then we'll select the tool, and then we'll want to trace that line. So I'll just drag this all the way here, and then I'll select this, and then I'll add a node. But let me zoom in. I'll add a node here, and I'll add another node here. So I'll zoom in properly, and then I'll use this to make some adjustment. Make some adjustment here. use this to make some adjustment. So I'll select this, and then so I'll have it there, and I'll zoom out. So let me reveal the face and see the outcome. So we have it there nicely, and then we'll just select it and just scale it down a bit, and then we'll use this positioning option, and then we'll just shift it a little bit. Just shift it a little bit. We'll just rotate it a bit like this. And then we have it there. So I'll just merge this and this together since it is part of the mouth. I'll merge it, and I'll use this positioning option to move it a bit, and I have it there. So the next thing we want to do is to work on the eye. So I'll just zoom in, and then I'll hide this layer, and then I'll just pick the shape tool, and then I'll add the shape. I'll add the shape. I'll check, and I'll try to create the eye. So now that we have it, we'll just hide it a bit so that we'll see the details here. So I'll unhide it, and I'll make a copy, and I'll just zoom out, and I'll give it a color, which is a black color there. Give it a black color, and then I'll scale it down like this. Scale it down, and then I'll just scale it down, and I'll use the position option here, and then I'll position it, and I have it there. So I'll make a copy for the second eye. I'll make a copy for the second eye, and then I'll just scale it down like this. I have it there, and I'll send it behind this. So I'll select the black side, and I'll make a copy again, and I'll simply drag it all the way down, and then I'll crop, scale it down, and then I'll try to position it. So now that I have it there, I'll just zoom out, and I'll unveil the face so that I will see the outcome. So we have it there. We'll simply zoom out, and then we'll just check, and we have it there. So the next thing we want to do is to create the layer there where we'll have the right top. So we'll just hide this, and then we'll head on to the tool here, and then we'll select it, and then we'll remove this, and then we'll just drag it all the way down here. We'll make a point, and we'll add another point, make another point here, and just close it. So with that selected, we'll just select it, and then we'll zoom in, and then we'll make adjustment to it. Just make some adjustments to it. We'll just select this note, and we'll keep making those adjustments till it fits into how we want it to be. So just make those adjustments there, and we'll just make it like this, and it's looking nice. So we'll just zoom out. Just like I said, this is a tutorial. This might not be so perfect, so but you can take your time to make it look good, because it's going to take a lot of time if I want to make everything to come out well. So you just take your time, and you can make it look nicer than this. So we'll have it there like this, and we'll reduce the opacity so that we can see through. Reduce the opacity so that we can see through, and then we'll scale it down a bit. We'll scale it down again, and then we'll use the max tool here, and let's zoom in so that we'll see what we're doing properly. So with the max tools selected, with this max tool, we'll just max out this part so that we'll have this effect here. We'll just max this part out so that we'll have that effect there. So just position it, and we'll click on OK. The next thing we want to do is to increase the opacity back to 100. So just increase the opacity back to 100, opacity back to 100, and then we'll just zoom out, and we'll change the color here from this to this shade of red. That's like an ox blood, and then we'll give it a stroke. Change the color to black. We'll increase the size to 4, and we'll click OK. So I'll just zoom out a little bit, and then with that selected, I'll simply make a copy, and I'll bring it down. I'll make a copy, and I'll bring it down, and then I'll rotate it this way, and I'll try to position it somewhere here. So I'll try to position it. I'll just rotate it again, and I'll have it here. So I'll select this, and I'll bring it to front, and then I'll give it a color same as what I have there. So I'll give it a fill color the same with what I have, and I'll increase the size of the stroke to match up with what I have there. So I'll click on OK. So I'll go back and I'll reveal it, but this color of the hand is different from the body, so we'll just fix that real quick. Yeah, we're done. So we'll go back to the body and then we'll reveal the body, so we have it nicely there. So there's one more thing that is remaining on our plate. Our lid is supposed to have a little hand there, so we'll head on to the shapes here. I'll just add this and we'll scale it down, and then we'll increase the radius just to have that round effect, and then we'll scale it down like this to make it really small, and then we'll give it the same color with that. And then we'll give it a stroke, change the color of the stroke to black, and then we'll click on OK. We can still edit it and increase the size of the stroke a little bit. So I have it. We'll click on OK, and let's zoom in so that we'll see it properly, and we'll just resize it this way, and we'll reduce it this way, and we'll just rotate it. We'll just use this rotate option here, and we'll rotate it like this, and then we'll just use this positioning option since it's looking so small. So we'll just take it up like this. We'll check and we'll see the outcome. So we'll still bring it down a little bit, and then let's increase it so that we can reduce the size. So we can reduce the size like this. So we'll just bring it down like this, and we'll check. So I want to increase the size of the stroke again, so I'll select it and I'll come to the stroke here, enable it, then I'll change the color to black. I'll increase it again, and I have it there. So the stroke is looking bigger than the rest of it, so I'll just reduce it a little bit, stroke, then I'll reduce it a bit, and I have it there nicely. So I'll just zoom out, and then I have my design there. So the next thing I want to do is to add the buttons that I have there. So I'll simply zoom in. This tutorial is taking longer than I expected. I'll add a shape. I will change it to a circle, and then I will resize it. I will resize it to something very small like this, and I will give it a stroke. I'll make the color black, and I'll click on OK. So it's still looking big. Let me resize it down a bit. So I'll increase the size of the stroke again to somewhere around 5 px, and I'll click on OK. So I'll zoom in, and then I'll resize this, and then I'll resize this a little bit all the way down. So I'll use the positioning option here to position it, because it's very small and I won't want to be messing around with my design there. position it somewhere there, and I'll click on OK. So I'll zoom out, and then I'll just simply make a copy of that, and I'll use this positioning option here to position it. I'll check, and I'll make another copy again. Make a copy. I'll use the positioning option again. Position it, and then I'll make another copy again. Positioning. So we have it there. So we'll make another copy so that we'll make the buttons for the hand. So with that selected, I'll simply select it, and then I'll use the positioning option, and I'll just bring it all the way down. I'm supposed to reduce this size so that it's not as big as those other ones, but I'll just leave it like this because I don't want this tutorial to be so long. It's already long. So I'll make another copy, and then make another copy. So I head on to the layer option here, and I'll group these three. So I have it grouped, and then I'll increase the stroke a bit. Increase the stroke. So I'll just zoom in, and then I'll just choose to resize it a little bit. So I'll still use the positioning option to position it nicely, and I'll rotate it like this. Check, and then I'll zoom out, and then I'll make another copy of those, and positioning, and then I bring it all the way here for this, and I'll just zoom in, and I'll just rotate it like this, and I'll take it somewhere here, and I'll click on OK. So I'll go back to the layer, and I'll just select this, the four of this, but before that, let me just do a little adjustment to it, and I'll select the four, and I'll merge them, and I'll increase the size of the stroke. Click on OK, and then I have it there nicely. So I'll just zoom out, and then we have it there. So there's one more thing that is missing on this design. So there's one more thing. So let me just zoom in a bit. Now select this heart and take it up, rotate it like this, then I'll zoom it in a bit. So I'll just copy this, and I'll duplicate it, or let me just create it let me just create it. So I'll just zoom out, and then I'll select this, select the Bezier tool, and then I'll zoom in a bit, select this option, and I'll zoom out, and then just delete this. Just delete this. I'll just drag that all the way down. Just drag it all the way down. Select its whole and drag it all the way down. Place it below this, and then I'll just use this positioning option, and I'll bring it out like this. I'll bring it out like this, and I have it nicely. So I'll select, and then I'll zoom out. I'll zoom out. So the next thing I want to do is to make my circles. Wow, this tutorial is so long. So I'll make my circle. So I'll just select the circle, and then I'll scale it up, position it here, and then I'll reduce the opacity so that I can see what I'm doing. Position it around here, and then I can give it a stroke. The stroke will be a little bit thick, and then let's say around 14 pixels, and then I'll change the color of the stroke to a gradient, but I won't use the gradient I use for the other one. I'll use a different gradient. So I'll change it to this, and then I'll remove the fill color. So I'll remove the fill entirely, and I'll click on OK. Now that I have it there, I'll add another circle again. I'll add another circle, and then I'll position it here, and I'll click on OK. So I'll change the color of the circle to a gradient color as well. I'll change it to this very gradient, and I'll leave it there. So I'll just go back, and I'll select this, and I'll just select this, and I'll drag it down to the bottom of my design. So I'll place it here. I'll just place it here, and I'll go back, and I'll select this, and I'll take it down. I'll select it, and I'll take it down. So I have it around here, and I'll leave it there. So with that selected, I'll reduce the size of this gradient a bit. So I'll reduce the size of my gradient to 10, and I'll click on OK. So now that I have it there, I would like to merge my layers. But before I merge it, let me make a copy of this. So I will save it as mascot food logo Z. Save it. And I'll also make another copy again, save as mm, because this mm is what I'll be grouping together. So I'll select this and I'll select all the layers together, and apart from this, and this and this, I'll merge the rest. So I'll just hide this. Okay, so apart from these three, I'm merging the whole thing apart from those three. So I'll merge all of these together, and these two, I'm not merging these circles, so I'll just merge this together. Now that I have them merged, I can scale it down and I can increase the size. So I'll select my circle here, and then I can be able to scale it up a bit. I can select this as well. So let me just hide this for now. I'll just select this, and then I'll position it to the center, and I'll select this, and I'll also position it to the center vertically and horizontally. So this positioning vertically and horizontally. So I select this and I position it vertically and horizontally as well to have it in the center. So I'll lock them for now. And then I'll reveal my shape. So now that I have it there, I'll like to position it properly, position it somewhere here, and then I'll select this and I'll send it to front so that it comes on top of my design here. So I'll send it to front, and then I'll position it like this, and then I want to select this and I'll position it as well so that I have it there, and then I'll shift this a bit as well. So I'll have my text there, and the text is going to be, let me just make it Emmanuel, and I'll click on OK, and I will select the text option, and then I want to curve it a little bit, so I'll just curve it a little bit like this, and I'll increase the spacing between the words, position it here. I'll increase the spacing between the words, and then I'll select a bolder font, and I'll make it something heavier. So I have it here nicely. So now that I have it here, I'll merge my circles together. I'll merge this and this together, merge, and I'll take it to the bottom of this, and then I'll just want to position it how I want it to be. And I have it nicely there. So I'll just hide this, and then I'll merge the whole thing again together. Select all of these and I'll merge them together. So you can see that I can scale the whole of this together, and then I'll select it, position it vertically to the center, and horizontally to the center so that I have it on the center there. So I'll select the background and then I'll edit it, change the color down to a white color because I want it to be a white background there. So I'll change it down to a white color, and as you can see, we have come to the end of this logo design tutorial.